We're ready.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to the joint North Bend City Council and Urban Renewal Agency meeting for August 11th at 4:30 p.m. from the council chambers. After calling the meeting to order, I'll ask the city recorder to help us with a roll call.
Councilor Jones.
Here.
Councilor Hamilton.
Here.
Councilor Garbo.
Here.
Mayor Ingleby.
Here.
Councilor Schultz. Present. Councilor Slater.
Here.
Councilor Torres. Here. Thank you.
Okay. Next, it does look like there's nobody here for public comment. So I'll go ahead and move on to number 4, which is review the city council agenda for August 12th, tomorrow. You've got our packet in front of us, and I'm going to ask our city administrator to kind of walk us through. The first thing is we have a ceremonial item.
Yes, and that is being postponed. So that shortens that agenda real quick.
Okay.
You will not be able to make it. On your consent calendar, your authorization to purchase and install an easy dump per insert bid for the 2025 street department pickup. The budgeted item. You have approval of the fiscal year 2025-26 library services contract. Same contract, just a different update. And then you have the support of the application for housing planning assistance program through DLCD. This is an initiative through our city planner and public works. If the council has any questions on any of these, staff is here to answer them. And if council wants to pull any of these out for an individual vote, that would be the time to indicate to staff.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions or any clarification on anything on the consent calendar?
No, it's always nice to get a brief summary on that.
Yeah.
Like a brief summary. Each have to.
You do want a brief summary?
I do,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I tell people that the meetings we come to, if you want to do a public comment or the work sessions.
Yeah.
Because that's where we have our discussions, so.
So we'll
it's
start
nice
with
if everyone agrees, if nobody wants.
Yeah,
um,
so on the first item with the authorization to purchase the easy dumper insert bed, like want to start with that one?
Yeah.
And so I can ask the public works director if there's anything specific that I'm just tell me a little bit more about a dumper dog.
2 Gs.
With 2 Gs.
Very simply, this is part of our fleet replacement. Some of the upfits are actually coming through Enterprise. This is not going through Enterprise itself. So we either get it delivered, for example, we have a utility box on wastewater's first pickup, which has just been delivered. They're taking it directly to the installer, we bought a chassis. They're putting the box on it. We get it delivered, so it's all under their contract. This is different. This is a sliding insert. And this is mainly for doing asphalt patching and small projects, because we have dump trucks. So if we need 10 yards or more, we have big dump trucks, but the vehicle we're replacing had a 2-yard dump in it. The Parks Department has dumper dogs. They're a little taller. Our guys are a little shorter. I'm teasing, sticking out of the bed, and it's just not as heavy duty as the one we have, which is actually 29 years old, and it's going away with the pickup when it goes away. So we're replacing that piece of equipment. The pricing was within about $80 for the 2 different pieces of equipment. The easy dumper is actually a little heavier. The hard part was figuring out whether to ship it here or have it installed in Portland, because that costs us money to drive somebody up there and wait for it to be installed. But it worked out to be cheaper to install it up there by about $300 or $400. So I kind of give you estimates each way.
Well, it sure looked like you got your money out of the other one. You used it twice and did everything, so it seems like it was timely to replace it.
Yeah, and it's a little hesitant right now and has issues, so, but it lasted 29 years.
Yeah, 2 to 3 times per week. You're
Yeah.
replacing it.
I think it impressed me that, okay, here's the style we use for whatever, and you actually found this one will work better for me.
Yeah.
So let's go with that.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
well written, good job.
Thank you for that. And let's see, I mean, these other items yours, which you.
No, the next one's the library.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'll ask our library director to kind of give us a quick synopsis of the contract with this county.
Good afternoon. Pursuant to the master plan for our countywide library service district, which forms the tax base that funds public libraries here in Coos County. Each member city of that district and the nonprofit corporation responsible for the Dora Public Library enter into an annual contract with Coos County to administer the tax base, collect those taxes, and then redistribute those among all of the participating libraries. Those funds are used for our library's annual operating budget, and they can be allocated for personnel, library services, furnishings, equipment, and materials. And so that is the basis of our library's special fund within the city of North Bend budget. And so this is that annual agreement.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then we'll
Ballot.
say it again.
Ballot.
Yes, hello, hi. Good to see you. Welcome. Yeah.
So, North Bend has already completed its housing need analysis and the housing production strategy. So now as we are moving forward, we have all our strategies ready. So now we are moving forward with our implementation plan. So we have applied for a grant, which would help us to create an implementation plan, a concept plan, what should we do further. And it would also help us to work on urban growth boundary amendments. So just to get the consultation help. And we are also looking to do some community engagement kind of things. So they might also help us with that. So we need letter of support for that grant.
That's certainly cost to us.
Zero cost.
Yes.
But that's
Other than
cost.
community engagement stuff.
Yeah. So other than that, it is all.
And this appeared to be, I guess, the grant to finalize all the planning and the setup that we have to be able to move ahead, is that correct? And that's sort of how I read it. First off, maybe you were building something and I go, oh,
Yeah.
no, this is putting together all the necessary data, background and plans, to build things.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So in the strategy, in the production strategy, we have all our strategies ready, like what we need to do. But it needs study of like, do we need to work some zones? Do we need some changing in codes? What more do we need to do? So in the implementation plan, we will focus more on that.
Very good.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great, well, that's, and if there's no other further questions with the consent calendar items, I'll go ahead and move on to, well, the next thing tomorrow night would be public comment, right? And then, do you want to speak about, number 6, Mr. City Administrator, on public hearing?
Jeff Bridgens will be presenting the public hearing resolution number 3371. This is the maximum indebtedness.
Yep.
And this is to continue to further the process. We still have public engagement to do, and that will be the final element before it goes now back after this process to the urban renewal. So, Jeff.
Yeah, so with items actually 6, 7, 8, and 9, you'll have before you 2 resolutions, each having their own public hearing. So public hearing will be for you to receive input on each of the resolutions, and then you'll have the resolutions to act upon. The first resolution is your concurrence to raise the maximum indebtedness of the Urban Renewal Agency. The second is your concurrence on whether or not the Urban Renewal Plan Amendment can include a public project within the scope of the plan amendment. After that, that will get you your concurrence on both of those items, should those pass. The next action that would be needed by the city, and it would be another public hearing for an ordinance change to incorporate that plan amendment for the Urban Renewal Agency. So it's my understanding the Urban Renewal Agency has done its part now in order for the substantial amendment to start the process. And that happened back in October when the commission said, yes, go ahead and put this forth. So it's really now incumbent upon the city. It starts with these 2 resolutions for your concurrence. There's a public outreach that has to happen for the ordinance change. So there'll be some information sent out, I believe, through public utility bills to the residents to alert them of this. And then I believe it would be in September at some time, we would come before you for that ordinance change in that public hearing.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
This is, I guess this is more general than what we had talked about, but I think what we would the plan for this is that, part of the annex buildings being into police or something like that, and that's this, we detailed this in here.
That
It
would be,
hasn't been fully vetted to the urban renewal agency yet, so we told all of them. We had included it as an option. The urban renewal agency still has to make a decision whether or not they want a public facility there. That's not just, say, city hall offices, which they would want. It could actually be a joint daycare. It could be a meeting space. So as we decide what we're going to do in the future with the community center. So that's all part of the planning phase. And so in order to address that, we went ahead and put it on the table. It's the only way that that will ever go through is you have to get concurrence of the county. The county denied us when we requested, and so we're hoping that they'll redress that. Unfortunately, some of the well, actually, two of the loud naysayers continually repeat false information. The county did not vote down our maximum indebtedness. The county did not have a vote in our maximum indebtedness. So therefore, they cannot vote down something that was never asked of them. They were asked to include a public project in the larger development. And we've always been very firm that we don't know what that is yet, because it's a 30-year plan and it still has to go before many steps before we know what we'll actually have on that property. But we do know it will be housing and something else.
How did we decide to go from 11 to 45? Was that it? Is that just what we're
On the
predicting?
maximum indebtedness,
Yes.
when you take 30 years of tax increment in order to pay off the cost of the project plus escalation, plus administration, that is what the cost is.
Thank you.
Yes. And that's not just for the annex project. In the plan, there's streetscapes and other facade grants and other type things, all in that 30-year plan.
Yeah, thank you.
I also think it's important to note that, the maximum indebtedness is, getting close to somewhere around 11 million right now. So going to 45 is not adding a whole nother 45 million. I mean, it's adding some 30 some $million to the maximum debt. It's not. You hear a lot out there, oh, we're just giving 45 million, and that's not quite accurate. We're just raising it to a total of a maximum debt is 45 million. A lot of that's already, a portion of that's already been spent.
For me is that maximum indebtedness is a legal phrase that doesn't mean. That doesn't mean revolving credit for the city.
It does not.
It doesn't at all. I mean, we don't like maximum indebtedness isn't even really necessarily a loan. If we use the money as we collect it, there's no loans involved. That's just simply in urban renewal. Correct me if I'm wrong. In urban renewal, we have to agree in these large buckets that have these timeframes on once the related tax streams.
You have the plan for which was your purpose. The maximum indebtedness is the amount of tax increment you can spend on that plan. And so that's the maximum indebtedness, and it's a number that we track. So we know how much we're spending.
It's not in debt
It's
necessarily. It could be.
it's a spending limit.
It's a spending
Yes.
limit, yeah,
Spending limit.
over a 30-year period or over the spectrum of, for us, it's 30 years. For other agencies, it might be different, but for us, that number is a 30-year span.
Once we spend the money earlier.
Well, there's two things. So under Oregon law, the agency is supposed to be in debt. That's the whole purpose. If you pay as you go, you incur escalation and increasing costs. And so the plan accounts for 30 years because we estimate at basically today's dollars with some escalating, knowing that it'll take us about 18 months to get the project going. That it'll take us 30 years of tax increment to pay off everything in the plan. There are a lot of things in our existing plan that never got done. Because it was a pay as you go, so things just escalate on price. And so you bond it, you get it done, and then you pay it down. And we're going to encourage that in order to get that project done. Because inflationary costs are killing everything.
Yeah.
I just sent 2 letters to our state representatives on the transportation plan. The reality is, without another funding mechanism, you know, yes. They can say road taxes are going to go up, but there's not another mechanism to pay for infrastructure. And so very much like this, the longer we continue to wait, you've seen escalation in all things. We could never buy that fire truck over there, what we paid for it. And thank goodness, the council saw fit to, you know, accept staff recommendations and move forward. Because that would have been 200 to 300,000 more, and it's even closer to $500,000 now.
Yeah,
If we were to try to replace it.
yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, so let's see, what else do we have on the agenda for tomorrow night?
This gets us over to Ralph again, number 10. This is authorization to purchase and replacement diffusers for the wastewater treatment plant digesters.
I can get real deep on this one. So our diffusers are what feed our microorganisms, which runs the entire plant. What basically happens is they wear out and it goes from, they're set as what's called a medium bubble diffuser. They get wore out, the holes get bigger, they tear a little bit, and we start losing air. Plus you grow different bugs. Basically, you're trying to grow, in order for your treatment system to work correctly, you're trying to grow the correct bugs. Those last about 10 to 12 years on the average. Most of ours are approaching 15. It's time to replace them. We came before you because even though they're cheap, $8.70 a piece, the 4 digester basins to replace them all is about $1,200. We are purchasing an extra 100. Case A, we damaged some during construction, and B, once in a while, when we pull them down, we've damaged a few and we'll have some spares to replace them. So a request is here before you to purchase 1,300 diffusers, and we're purchasing the same ones because the air distribution system is designed on within that basin having a certain air distribution. So if we change diffusers, then we have to repipe things.
How many users are we currently using?
1,200.
Okay. Of a couple of different types.
No, they're all the same.
Okay, well. Just in here, it's at 50 spares.
We have about 100 spares in there.
Alright, any other questions for public works director on the plant digesters?
The next item is number 11. This is the designating of a voting delegate to the League of Working Cities 2025 annual business meeting.
Yep, I will be there. This is the meeting that's in October. I think Councilor Slater, do you plan to go as well? Does any of the other council know if they're going yet to the conference in October? Sign up. It's a 100-year celebration for the League of Working Cities. You have one person designated on the last day of the conference to be voting. I'll be there anyway, so I don't know if I don't think there's any sort of conflict for me to be that person.
Yeah. Okay, so tomorrow night, we'll have to put our name in.
Yeah, so staff recommendation is to see what would that look like? Would it be
Page 29 is the suggested motions.
page 29?
Yeah, so it's the name.
Yeah, we just put your name in.
Okay. Everybody okay with that? Yeah. Okay. All right. Coming up quick. Already in the middle of August. So here we are, that then takes us to the end of the agenda, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me, was there a motion that with the name for the voting delegate?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, excuse me. You're right. Thank you.
Perfect. So, and then it looks like we can go ahead and go back into our council, that's pretty much it for the agenda. There might be some action from executive session, we can find it out.
Yeah, why not go to the URA agenda?
Oh, now we're gonna, there we go, URA agenda here.
We haven't had one of those in a while.
So yeah, so tomorrow night we'll have, we'll go through the URA agenda and review the. Would you like to talk about what's in the packet for that tomorrow evening?
So, anyway, the first thing is our URA minutes from the June 24th, 2025 meeting, so that the approval of the minutes. If there's any changes to the proposed minutes, let that know so that we can get them corrected or changed for tomorrow. The next item is number 5, it's authorization to establish a $200,000 downtown code compliance revolving loan fund using Main Street revitalization grant reimbursement proceeds. And so to make this digestible, since we're on a digester, is we obviously had the fire marshal pay a visit along with our building official to quite a few downtown establishments. They actually are, and a lot of this did not happen during COVID. And so we have businesses that some have as many as $50,000 in code violations that they've got to get a contractor to take care of. As you can imagine, coming up with $50,000 is not the easiest thing, especially when some of you have already have debt, etc. And so in talking to some of these businesses, the Main Street grant, which is a reimbursable grant, means that they have to come up with 100% of everything before they can submit and then get reimbursed for the 70%. And so since we are now receiving our reimbursement back for the Big Cleaners building, 180,000 short of the 20,000 when we close on the new property. We will have $200,000 plus the entire asset that is then on the books, and we will be moving that forward. We have the executive session on that. So it makes sense to come to the council and authorize through the mechanism of our urban renewal agency, which also covers the Main Street area, to create a revolving loan fund that actually then will allow the urban renewal agency to be the pass-through and sort of manage those projects with the businesses so that they don't actually have to come up with the full freight. They are still on the hook for their 30%. It is an option for them to submit for revitalization grant if they so choose. We haven't received any yet, but that is an option, and they're allowed to do that every 5 years. So anyone that would have been within 5 years could not reapply for one of those without a change of the urban renewal agency or the council. And so if approved, we would work with our city attorney on creating the appropriate documents that are necessary to effect a revolving loan fund. I suspect that that would also then, if they are not the owner of the property, the owner would have to engage with us very much like we do the revitalization or facade grants. And in this case, I suspect there would also be, if something goes south, but the way we're structuring it is the city would be on, but they're still on for the 30%. So we have the ability to basically put a lien on the property until we're taking care of it. It's a 2-year grant cycle, and so we have flexibility on how to structure the revolving loan funds. This is not a new concept. I also sit on the executive committee of, say, the CCD Business Corporation, who is in the middle of submitting for revolving loan funds for technical assistance and other things. We're looking at a potential grant through USDA for rural that would help our low-income property owners in the city, where we can have a revolving loan fund to help them with some of their property upgrades and fixes, where they're code violations exist and they don't have the mechanism to pay for them. So these are available to us. This is a new concept. It's not something that, we've done in the 5 years. But we recognize that the alternative is if they do not get these code violations taken care of, in some of the instances, they're going to get a stop order from the state fire marshal's office, and they will have to shutter the doors. And, our fire chief, is here. He is engaged with some of these businesses, and has been with the fire marshal. But these are life safety concerns and they have to be addressed. And so, we work with them to put in the grants. But not all of them can come up with, that sizable of a chunk and change. And we've got to get these addressed as quickly as we can. So I told them I would do my part and come with the ask. So there's the ask.
Would the Main Street manage the like application process?
We'll do that through the Urban Renewal Agency,
Okay.
because we have the economic, and the law behind us to be able to do that. Your Main Street program, under their contract with the state,
Okay.
operates differently.
Okay.
Can you walk us through, like, so an example, let's say like there's a business and there's a code violation, and maybe it's something to do with like their door, right? It's not working properly. And let's just use a $10,000 needs to be repaired for the door. So that they put in an application process or an application, it then comes to the URA, is that correct?
So in this case, we've already done all of that. You're absolutely right. So you may recall, Stephanie Wilson came and, had presented to you, I think it was called, the hub, let's see, something spaces. Stronger Spaces, yes, Stronger Spaces. She came and presented Stronger Spaces. You all approved submission of that application to the state. Estimates and everything with the businesses were approved. So in this case now, we have a contract with the state. We just got the final amendment, this past week for the contract, so we are now ready to roll. So in this case, the Urban Renewal Agency would work to do contracting to make sure that the permits are pulled, to make sure that they're licensed contractors, and then the work gets done. And so we would be the pass-through for the money, and then, we would, front the entire cost. Let's say it's $10,000, would front the full cost out of the revolving loan fund. And then the business entity would be on, board to repay us, their 30% portion, which could be spread out up to 2 years based on the date of the contract.
Got it.
So we have to be able to close out, and I think I'm actually wrong. I think this one is 3 years. Yes, it's 3 years total that we have to get it, closed out.
By 2020.
Yeah.
It definitely fits into the council goals when you look at, how it's written in here about the, I like, you always do a good job of tying in these sort of decisions and how it meets like our strategic plan about reducing vacancy rates downtown. I see a couple hands up, Councilor Jones.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions. The first question is, and I know there's no telling, but what are we looking at for like the number of businesses downtown that we know of now that this 200 grand should spread out? It's gonna help one? Cause it's 200,000 and whatever, or it's gonna help 10, cause it's 20,000, or like?
If I recall correctly, the application, I think, was 17 locations.
17 locations.
Yeah,
And
that's what I remember out of my memory without going to a lifeline, but I know we corrected that. With X number of applicants, but some applicants had multiple sites. And
so these are applicants already in the.
already vetted in the Stronger Spaces.
Oh, so
Yeah,
they've got
we
the
said-
grants.
Same thing.
Yeah, so this is
And
the
they've
start
all
of
been
the
approved.
next thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
so we're addressing them first.
okay.
Because we're going to get reimbursed. So I'm trying to basically take the pot of money, reuse it,
Yes, I love that.
because otherwise we're kind of double dipping. We put the money out, we're getting the money back, and then we're going to sell the property. And so I'm trying to, and then if it's successful. Under the URA, once it's done through that process, potentially we could even expand citywide. Because we have positive program revenue
Yeah.
coming in from our other properties.
So this value came from the Bay Cleaners amount and it's slated already for 17 different businesses, 17 different projects. Don't worry, they said yes, they said yes to.
Yeah,
That's
the
great.
200,000, I'm closing out that. We have a executive session, so you'll learn more about that closeout. But the goal is to get that closed out by the end of the year within our 3-year term. They authorized us last week, so I notified you all that we're getting 180,000. They're holding retainage of 20,000, so combined. However, the grant for Stronger Spaces was lower than 200,000.
Yeah, okay.
So we're not spending the whole, we're spending. And I'll have to look again from my feeble mind, just, I think it was in the neighborhood of like 158,000. But again, don't hold me to that number, there's a lot of numbers in my head, so, but I do know it's not the 200,000, so we're not going out.
Yeah.
The reason I said that was because I knew that we were going to have the 200,000 back from. The Bay Cleaners, courtesy of
Yeah,
the state.
yeah, no, that's terrific. Okay, and so then the work on revitalizing and the code compliance, does that mean, so say all this works exactly as we planned and those buildings are up to code? Does that mean they can open, or does that mean they're not going to be condemned, but they still have things to do?
It's not a condemnation. What it is that, I'll give you an example of one. On one,
You see what I'm asking, I'm just wondering,
yes.
does it mean we can bring a business in, or does it mean you're no longer a really bad
So-
hazard?
so there is one property that does not have heat,
Yeah,
okay? It needs to get heat, it's gonna significantly value, and it's an empty storefront right now. Okay, so they believe that they can rent that property or sell it much quicker if it resolves this, so it's an upgrade to the property. It is 3 years, Stephanie's texting me, so I got that.
And,
I'm aware of another that.
so
those
we're
requests and
hoping
things like
that,
And there's
Not
11
vacant.
applicants.
hopefully.
In the grant that would be vetted. The Stronger Spaces was 196,000, so it's higher than I said, but.
Safer, stronger space.
Safer, stronger.
Stronger Spaces, or I think it's Stronger Spaces. I think that's a.
So this
Stronger
isn't
Spaces.
just work to like. Put the fence up to.
Some of this is
It's
electrical.
actually making the
Some of
property
it is
usable.
a compliant restroom. By the way, the URA is one of the applicants. It's the Salon Bella is, in fact, we just put in another grant application for fire safe rated doors for Salon Bella through our insurance company. So we're always applying for grants.
Yeah,
the old location.
Yes, the old location, yes, the old location, thank you. The old location, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
exactly, yes.
Next.
Yeah, yeah, good point.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Any other questions about that revolving loan?
No, I think that's great. I think that is exactly what we're supposed to do when we have these capital funds, we help the business that exists, but you do it in such a way that it
If
can manage itself, yeah.
then there's money gets paid back,
How
and
this stuff is supposed to work.
then it's established, maybe there's other grants later on that could be put into that, I mean, I can see this all being businesses for a while. Okay. Right, we've not seen no other questions, number 6 then.
You actually now go back, Madam Mayor, to the full agenda, and it would be executive sessions.
Okay, all right, so number 6 on the work session agenda is an executive session. And North Bend City Council will meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192-6602F to review information for record exempt by law from public disclosure. North Bend Urban Renewal Agency will meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192-6602B to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive sessions. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed to not report on the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session. So I'll ask our city reporter, then would you like me to come back out of executive session and adjourn then?
Can we adjourn now?
Or adjourn now?
You have your attorney on board.
So, Mr. Wel, should I go ahead and adjourn our work session and then go into executive session?
So I think, no, I think you're supposed to keep the meeting open and come back into public session and then you can adjourn.
Okay, all right, well, we'll go ahead and let our city reporter get ready to prepare us to enter executive session. Adjourn the meeting.